Hello, crafting friends. I'm Doreen DeSivas from It Begins with Ink and Paper. Welcome to Simply Stamping Sunday. I'm so happy you're able to join me tonight. I don't know where you are coming from, but here in New Hampshire, it has been just a crazy weather day. And we're not done yet, but I think we're into the rain and freezing rain part of our storm. So let's just review what we've done the past 2 weeks. We'll start with that. The first week, we did a lot of stamping and used a lot of the background paper to make these 3 cards. They were stamped similarly, using the same floral set, the same colors, but those were a fun set of cards to make. And then last week, we used paper scraps. And we made these 3 cards, by using the different paper scraps and creating a background with those. And we used different sentiments, but we kind of made the tags all the same on these. Well, tonight, using our Delightful Wishes stamp set, we are going to look at one card layout called the chair rail layout, and we're going to make 3 cards using that layout, but we're going to use the layout in a different way each time. So we're using the Delightful Wishes card stamp set tonight, and I am going to be using the Best Wishes from With You in Mind. It is so nice to have a big, bold greeting set that covers happy birthday, best wishes, thank you, and thinking of you. So it's a nice set to have. So let me just put this stamp on the block and we'll be all set to go. So I know back in the 70s having a chair rail was quite the style to have. And this card is designed with that chair rail decorating technique in mind. So we have this beautifully patterned designer series paper from the Delightful Florals. I've got a piece of old olive cardstock counting as the railing. And then I have another piece of the designer series paper that I stamped on and then added the greeting. So that's the basics to the chair rail design. So to make this card, we need an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock. Let me just grab my bone folder. And we're going to fold that in half and use our bone folder to provide a really nice crease in our paper. This is going to be going in the vertical orientation. Then for cardstock, we're going to need 2 pieces of 4 by 5.25. This is going to go onto our front of our card and on the inside of our card. We're going to need 3 strips. Here we've got them all. 3 strips, 1 of basic white, 1 of old olive, and 1 of the designer series paper that measure 3/8 inch wide. And then we'll be adjusting that if we need to. And we need 2 pieces of designer series paper. They are the same piece, just back to back, using each side. So for our smaller piece, we have a 2.25 by 3 7/8, and for our larger piece, we have another 3.5 by 3 7/8. Hi, Lynn. Thanks for joining tonight. So these are going to go on the front. Let's start with putting our cardstock strip on the inside of our card. So let me just grab my adhesive. So I'm just using the Stampin' Seal on this. Okay, so that gives us our piece for the inside, and then I'm just going to add some adhesive and we'll put it in the inside of our card. All right, so everything is going to go on this piece of basic white cardstock. So I'm just going to decide how I want my flowers to be orientated. They're going to go at the top. They are that floral pattern of wallpaper, you could say. Then, before I put this piece on, I want to do some stamping on it. So in Old Olive, just make sure. Actually, I wanted this to be a little darker, so I actually used Mossy Meadow. So at the top, I'm going to stamp Wishing. So, hey Janice, thanks for joining tonight. How are things in Jaffrey? I heard they got hit really hard with the ice today. We're still dealing with that ice, but I hope you guys, that's not so bad for you over there. I'm just going to add that little piece of the 3 dots. There we go. And then on the Nancy Blair, hello. Oh my goodness. I can't believe you're joining me. And then I'm just going to add you, so wishing you a happy birthday. And I'm just going to take my paper snips. So I have everything here. It's just finding what I did with it. All right. And I am just snipping off those ends. And I will add this in just a minute with some dimensionals. So this piece is going to go right over here. And I'll add this to the front of the card, line everything up. There we go. And now we'll add our chair rail. Well, I'm glad you still have power, Janice. We had some flickering today, but we didn't lose anything. And then this is going to go right on the front of the card. And it is still raining or sleeting out there here too. I'm not sure which one it's doing. Okay, now we just have to add our greetings. So I'm going to grab a couple of dimensionals and I'm just going to cut some of these small ones. I like to use everything on for my dimensionals, so I use every single piece that's on here. And one more should do it. And this means our first card is all done. So there is card number 1 tonight with the chair rail layout technique. Okay, I am going to set this aside, and our second card is going to use the same technique, but this time we're going to turn it on its side. So you can see we've got some beautiful vellum. We've got some more of the designer series paper. We're going to do a little more stamping on this one, but it is the same technique. So what do you need for this? First of all, we need a piece of thick basic white cardstock that measures 5.5 by 8.5. Remember, I am going to post all of these measurements in the comments once the video is done, so you don't have to worry about that. So my vellum measures 2.5 by 4. My designer series paper measures 4 by 3, and we are going to put those onto the front of the card. So I'm just going to grab some adhesive and put on the back of this. I'm not going to put as much on the vellum, but with this going on a white background, the tape doesn't show up that much. I do too, Lisa. Thanks for joining tonight. Okay, there's the vellum, and then we're going to put the designer series paper. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for joining. All right, so there we have the front of our card, and now we're going to add that little chair rail piece, and that is going to go right here. And so you can see it's the same design as the other card. If I bring this over, I'm just going to be turning the card like this, which just makes it a little different. Okay, so now to do some stamping. We are going to need our Old Olive, Pool Party, Lemon Lolly, and Daffodil Delight. So I am going to start with the Lemon Lolly, and I'm going to just get this out of the way so it doesn't get any of the ink on it. And I'm going to take the solid part of our flower and just stamp a random background. Okay, that looks good. I'm just going to grab my cloth and wipe up that yellow ink so it doesn't get over everything. Done with that. I'm going to take now the Pool Party ink, and we've got a couple of things to stamp. I'm just going to clean off my wishing to get all that green off. I don't want to get that into my Pool Party ink. And I'm going to stamp this right towards the upper third of the card. There we go. And then I am going to be stamping you a happy birthday. So let me just find where I put that one. Here it is. And we'll just clean that green ink off this one too. And this is going to go on our Daffodil Delight. And I'm just going to stamp that right in the middle as well. And then again, I'm going to just snip those edges off. Like that. There we go. And we'll be using this again in a minute. But I'm going to go to the Daffodil Delight to work on the outer layer of the flowers. So this just adds that piece that adds the detail. I have to say, I just absolutely love two-step stamping. Just makes for some beautiful cards. Okay, so that part is all done. Now I'm going to take the old olive and I'm going to add some leaves to this. This is definitely the part I love the most, is doing all of the stamping. And I love making cards that I can do a lot of stamping on, like this one. And there we go. And now I'm just going to bring out that pool party again. Hi, Joyce. Yeah, Lisa, I'm really into the spring colors right now. I'm just so sick of the winter weather. So, this has been a night. This set has just allowed me to think spring. Okay, that looks good. And now we're just going to finish putting this all together. So this here is going to go on to the piece of pool party paper. So the white cardstock measures 3 by 4, and the pool party measures 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. And I am going to put some more of those little dimensionals on the back of this card. So here we go. So Willie will put the dimensionals on the back before I add that to the front. Take these off. All right, so let's bring our card back up. All right, and now we just have to add this going across the front. And there is card number 2. So pretty. All right. Now the final card. Now we're going to be in another vertical position, but we're going to just use a smaller piece and have it going up and down instead of across. So again, it could go like this and have the railing there, but we're going to do it just a little bit different. And this one is just going to let the designer series paper do all of the work for us. So I'm starting with a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of thick basic white cardstock, and I am going to take a 1 1/4 piece by 1 1/2 inches. Excuse me, by 5 1/2 inches. So 1 1/4 by 5 1/2. And we're going to put this right up to the edge of the card. There we go. And then I'm going to take a piece that measures 3 by 5 1/2, and it's going to go right along here. But before I do that, I have a 3/8 inch wide piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock that I'm going to add to this. So we have that little chair rail. And I can make this show as much or as little that I want. So I'm just having it show about 1/8 of an inch. And then I'm going to add my adhesive. And then this is going right over the rest of the card front. And there we go. So there's the front of the card. Now all I'm going to do is stamp my greeting, and I'm using the greeting again from the With You in Mind set for this particular card, and it's just the best wishes. I'm going to take the Daffodil Delight ink, and I'm going to ink up the best wishes. And this is a piece that is 2 by 2, 2 inches by 2 inches, that I'm just going to stamp my greeting on. And I am going to put it on a piece of designer series paper that measures 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. Oops, let's just a little crooked. There we go. Now I'm going to use dimensionals to raise this up like I've done with the other cards. So we'll just need 1 in each corner. And our third card is almost finished. And this I'm going to just center on this side, from side to side, not top to bottom, and that is our third card. Is that fabulous? And all 3 of these cards that we've made tonight all use this chair rail technique. So here we have the 3 cards. Let's just get these stamps out of the way. The 3 cards that I made tonight. So I hope you have enjoyed this edition of Simply Stamping Sunday. I'll be back next Sunday, and it's the last Sunday of the month, so we'll be doing all fun folds next week, which I'm excited about. I've got some fun, easy to make fun folds to share with you. And of course, I'll be back Friday night with another edition of Fun Fold Friday, and I've got some pretty cool folds coming up for you in this. We have been, yesterday I went to an online stamping retreat that was done by a demonstrator here in the United States and 2 demonstrators in Australia. And one of the demonstrators is an engineer turned into a demonstrator, and wait till you see these folds. They're just unbelievable. So you have to attend the next few Fun Fold Fridays, because I'm going to really show you some cool stuff. I agree, Lynn, this would be great for a shoebox swap. Nice and easy to prepare for. So thanks for joining me tonight. I will see you again next Friday night and, of course, next Sunday night. Take care, everyone. Good night.